the presence of Titans. Well, more like hanging out with Titans. Nice Titans. Good people. Okay, welcome everybody to Hanging Out with Titans episode 2. I am flattered and fantastically happy to count with the magnificent, fantastic Kathrin, who is here with us. Thank you so much for coming. You have an awesome YouTube channel, one of the most knowledgeable YouTube channels ever. Well researched, well presented. It's well articulated. I love the way you think and the way you are, and through and through. And this is an exceptional one because you're the first Titan that I know in person. So welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Javi. It's really great to be here, and I'm flattered by that great introduction.
Oh, come on. This series is about people who I admire and respect so much, and we got really nice. We started off with Mexi because she's awesome and you're awesome too. So, yeah, that's the spirit. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Sorry if I look a bit like a drowned rat. I just came out of the shower, so that's why my hair is like very wet.
That's fantastic.
But
showers are great. You're just relaxed and perfectly okay. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm doing well. I can't complain. I feel like I've just come to the end of my therapy, or I'm just coming to the end of my therapy. And it's been like almost 2 years now, so I feel like I'm doing a lot better. I'm feeling very content and at peace in a lot of ways, which feels really good. And I feel like I've actually learned quite a lot from COVID about myself personally, which has been quite helpful. And yeah, I don't know, I'm just feeling quite good.
That's
How are
fantastic.
you, Javi?
Hanging in there. I'm at the beginning of my therapy, let's say. So it's gonna take a while for me to feel a little bit more, stronger. But keeping busy, which is good, I guess.
Yeah. Have you been to therapy before, or is this your first ever?
No, never ever.
Okay.
I was supposedly always healthy, and even this first date with the psychiatrist, she told me like, "You're okay. You just need to get a job." It sucked.
Yeah, God, yeah. So it felt like she was just putting all the responsibility on your shoulders.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like this is not my thing, Like I treat people who are like sick in the brain, and your chemistry seems to be okay for your reaction or something like that. She was, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember much of that session. She was just asking questions. I couldn't hear her very well because the window was open. We had the distance thing from the COVID, and somebody was drilling with one of those pneumatic drills in the pavement nearby, so I couldn't hear for shit. It was weird, but it is okay, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose it's good news. I take the positives, that I'm not actually that sick. That means that I have room for improvement, and that's good, I suppose.
How do they determine what's going on in your life and how that reflects what's happening with you now, and is that how they decide whether it's something that's chemical or not?
I don't know. She asked me questions. I told her the conditions, what was going on. I told her about, suicidal ideations and whatnot, and the certainty. But she said, yeah, I was going through a rough patch, but not sick. Didn't count as sick for some reason. So anyway, 2 years of rough patch. Yeah. Hell if I know. That's black magic for me. Ask me about chords, about notes and instruments. I can tell you everything, but psychiatry, I don't have a clue. So I defer to their knowledge there.
My flatmate is actually a music therapist, and maybe you would enjoy, because you love music so much, maybe music therapy could be the way to go for you. I think I don't know. She says things like she asks people like, what 5 songs would you like to listen to just before you die, and like, or what 5 songs are represent your whole life, and that kind of thing. And I think it's like interesting to think about these questions and what kind of. I think it's also about like you pick a song that really resonates with how you're feeling in the moment, and then kind of analyze the song, which is also analyzing your feelings at that time. I think that could be interesting.
It
What kind of song are you feeling right now? I won't know it because we have quite different music taste, I think.
Yeah, I guess I don't know because I couldn't pick one song, even one genre. I like all music, so picking ones instead of others, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. But
Okay, you're a true you're a true anarchist. Everything is equal.
I wish I were a true anarchist, but no. I'm just you just can't decide. There are so many good songs, and every song is good for a moment. For this moment there's this one, for that moment is that one. So, and it's not always the same. I could even say dialectical materialism about picking songs at random because it changes with the moment, right? It changes with the circumstances.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good, good songs that pop up to your head. That's a good thing to do. I don't know. I feel like a lot like Faith No More's third album. I guess King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime. I guess that would be the mood for right now. Probably Ricochet or one of those songs. What songs can pop up to your head right now, for instance?
My go-to when I'm feeling sad is definitely Radiohead. I'm definitely, I love it, especially I really like Fake Plastic Trees. That like really speaks to me on a lot of levels. And Daydreaming, I really like that. I love the song Spirit Bird by Xavier. I feel like that is that speaks to my soul. That song, I feel like that. I think it's also just like a motivational song for leftists
Mm-hmm.
because it's talking about keep fighting and keep going, and yeah, it's beautiful.
It reminds
But
me of the "Don't Give Up Now." We're proud, the Peter Gabriel song, right? We're proud of who you are. Remember that one?
no, I don't remember.
In this
Probably if I
proud
heard it.
land we grew up strong. Da da dee da 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 da. And I don't know. It wasn't a TV commercial, to be honest. I don't remember listening to it very intently.
I don't know who Gabriel even is. My music knowledge is pretty bad, to be honest.
Yeah, Peter Gabriel was in Genesis, one of those very cool 70s bands that was breaking up in the 80s, and everybody got famous along with the drummer guy, Phil Collins, and some other people.
Okay.
Really good musicians, though, but, kind of boomer music, I suppose.
Are you a boomer? Do you fit into
Hell
the
if I
age?
know. I've been called that a lot. I mean, generationally, like if you go like exactly, I'm an Xer, Generation X. You're probably millennial, right?
Yeah, millennial. Yeah.
Generations. Generations it's a nice Star Trek movie with Malcolm McDowell in it.
I really wanted to ask you actually about your. I don't know. I feel like you have a lot of valuable knowledge that we can all learn from because you're older than the usual YouTube demographic. I mean, like leftist YouTube demographic. And I don't know. I feel like you must have a lot of insight about how change happens, like over your lifetime, and also in terms of politics and getting involved in leftist movements. Because from when I was in Spain, I remember you were telling me about your previous anarchist stuff that you had done, and do you feel like the movement has like fundamentally changed in a lot of ways, or the way people engage in leftist politics?
It changes over time. I mean, the basics are always there. People who want justice, people who want the grinder to stop and to build something new. But what changes a lot is the methods and the persuasion, I would say, from on behalf of the right, of the status quo, how the persuasion of the system it permeates into people's minds. And I think that that's changed a lot. Like right now we got like the internet media right now. And back in the day was just the TV, that was like manufacturing consent, the old school type. We've all read, we've all listened to the Chomsky, chat about it. And it is really spot on. Like back in the day, it was more centralized. And right now, there's always a right winger who's going to tell you like, yo, this is, capitalist realism and whatnot. So the same ideas are conveyed differently. And they're like the paths are changing all the time, and it's very fast. And people are shouting at each other on Twitter, which didn't happen back in the day. We shouted at each other in real life, but we were really nice to each other. Actually, we were shouting at the Nazis, which is what we should have done in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. It's tricky. Things change, but stay the same. It's strange. It's strange.
Yeah. I feel like I would have loved to be around for like the hippie movement, the flower power thing, like that time period. It must have been amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I would have loved to if I didn't live in Spain, because back in the 60s Spain was under Franco. So
Oh fuck yeah.
I wish I were there in another country somewhere else. But I hear you.
What always strikes me is just thinking about how much actually has changed over time. I know that's such an obvious statement, but I feel like a lot of people are so hopeless and apathetic, and sort of nihilistic about the future, what will happen in the future. But then when you see how much has actually progressed over time, I guess it's like part of the problem. A lot of leftists are in their like 20s, and so they haven't been able to see the kind of change that's happened over time, or we easily forget about our history, so then we end up replicating the same problems, or we just think, well, nothing's going to change because we've only known this like reality, so we think that it's not going to change, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's something that the media has gone really good at making us forget things, So history can repeat as a tragedy or as a farce. Yeah, farce or a tragedy. And it sounds like, oh, it's something that is so in the theory books. Shit, does it work? But yeah, I mean, one step at a time. I think we're doing great at, I don't want to be like super doomer about it, we're advancing one step at a time, like climate change is finally in the discourse. 20 years ago, climate change was like, what? Those ecologists, those hippies, fuck them, and move on and buy the next car, the next house, the next computer. So, at least it's there, and people are talking about it. When it didn't happen like 20 years ago, it just was not a thing. Everybody was worried about police brutality, about squatting, about the housing rights and everything. Different things were on the table at the moment. And I remember in Spain when the big neoliberal wave came, there was like everybody was rich, everybody was buying and selling, and everybody was getting credit everywhere, and didn't work out so well either eventually. So right now we're being like hit with crisis after crisis after crisis, and I think we're all waking up to the fact that capitalism is dying, that this cycle is done. The question is, what are we going to do now, right? I'm reading right now Carlos Taibo. Do you know Carlos Taibo?
No, I don't think so.
He's a Spanish, professor. I mean, most of his work probably is only in Spanish, so it's difficult to... But the guy is amazingly good. He's very academic, though. A little bit hard to read, but there leaves like a little thing in his usage of a language that gives you like, what a nice guy. But it's still super dense. But there's something in the language that makes you smile. It's like reading Asimov, the Asimov movies, that you're like smiling all the time because of the way he's writing those sentences. It happened the same with Carlos Taibo. Yeah. And he has this theory, he is one of the proponents of this theory of the collapse, that we're running out of we're running out of some, basic things that we're using right now for running the world. So society is gonna go to it's gonna go to shit. So that's absolutely inevitable. Like 20 years ago, the discussion in the intellectual circles back then, in the 3 or 4 people who cared about it, was like, how can we avoid the collapse? But right now, the collapse is inevitable, and the discussion is about what are we gonna do when collapse happens? How we're gonna reorganize? Is it gonna be like an opportunity to reorganize in a better way? And he planned like stuff like degrowth and detechnologization and simplification of life, and getting back some of the rural life, some of the aspects of the rural life that were good, but at the same time trying to incorporate into it some of the aspects of the urban life that were actually good. Not losing the bad parts of what is going away, and recovering all the good parts of what was back in the day. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting, because in some ways I think it could be pacifying if there's this narrative that like the collapse is inevitable, but then at the same time, I think in a sense, I feel like most people sort of assume that a collapse is coming. So I think that it's kind of helpful for him to reframe it as like, yeah, a collapse is going to come, but that doesn't mean the end. That means just the beginning. Like, what are we going to do at that point? Because I think a lot of people's disengagement, I suppose, is because they're like, oh, well, we're all fucked. The society is going to collapse and we're all doomed anyway. But then if he's saying, actually, even in those moments, there's so much we need to do still. I don't know, I find that really kind of motivating. I know that, is it Anna Tsing? I think that's her name, who wrote about, like, I don't know, The Mushroom at the End of the World, and the other book that I can't remember the name of. But I think she talks a lot about that, like, how can we create life even after, like, the planet is destroyed, even after, like, the catastrophic collapse. And yeah, I find that super motivating to like, yeah.
Yeah, the goo will survive and make new people after we're gone. Yeah, I don't know. We should maybe put some more thought into that. How the new societies, how we want the new societies to be, and what we can expect from the collapse, and go like, people are gonna suffer. People are suffering now, so I mean, not much change in that area, I guess. And how can we alleviate that suffering, and how can we build better new things, right? Which I think, most of the time it's like there's a lot of really good ideas out there. So let's pick one at a time and, and start trying them out and see what works.
Yeah.
I hate, this sense of competition of the online left, of my idea is the best and your idea sucks, it's not gonna work, you're yada yada, and everybody fighting each other. And it's like, all of them are worth trying out. Let's give them a shot, and see what happens.
Yeah, I hate it as well. I think it's sort of this replicating the same stuff we're trying to dismantle. It's this sort of competitive, individualistic, like hierarchical thing, trying to dominate other people and tell them that their way is wrong compared to your way. I mean, there is value in spreading information about different theories and things like that, but I think it depends on how it's done. And I think a lot of the time it's more like presented in a way that I am absolutely right, rather than this is one way we can do it and there are also valid other ways.
Yeah, definitely. I would say we try everything we can, and see if we can figure it out. I mean, and if it fails, it's fine. Somebody else will find it useful. I think, not every idea works universally in all of the places at once, or works at all the time frames at once, or the historical moments at once. Just
Mm-hmm.
improvise, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think it would be amazing to have more YouTube channels where there are people who showcase like real life action that people are doing. I mean, obviously, I suppose maybe it's not possible because a lot of the time you've got to keep it secret from the police and stuff like that. But even like social ecology movements or, something that is technically not illegal, like if we had more channels like that, that could be incredible because then it's actually showing how tangible things are being done. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I think
Maybe we should have a project like that someday, Hammy.
Definitely. Because, yeah, but for that I'll have to get my shit together first. But yeah, definitely. I think I remember Aaron from Re-Education made an episode about how they set up a community fridge, for instance. Like,
yeah, Aaron is really good at the videos on actual real life strategies you can do. I need to check out his work more. Yeah, I think I can learn a lot.
Good stuff, how they and described more or less how to set up a community fridge in your community, and things like that are useful. That are see if you can make it work. In your local place and whatever. Mutual aid is always the best, I would say.
Yeah.
And with so many crises, right?
Yeah. Mexi also had a video about social ecology, like a stream with people from social ecology movement, and that was really inspiring as well. So, yeah, there is a lot of stuff going on. I guess we just have to, or I need to search more for more content.
There's so much. There's so much out there. It's like where to pick.
I know. I'm so terrible at keeping up with everyone's videos and watching people's videos these days.
It's hopeless. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Nobody can do it. No, there's not enough hours in the day to keep up with everybody's content. That's
yeah. It's true.
It's the truth.
How are you?
Huh?
Sorry.
You were saying.
I was going to say, how are you finding the job search? How are you finding your job search at the moment?
Difficult. Nobody answers. It's like it feels like musical chairs game, where the music has stopped and everybody's sat on a chair and there's not enough chairs for everybody. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna keep an eye open for all opportunities and everything. But the economies right now are so contracted, all of them. It's like finding a new job. Everybody's holding on to their, old jobs if they can, and there are no new openings because the economy is absolutely contracted. It's crunching down, so it's very difficult right now. Very difficult. But I'll try and send CVs to everywhere and talk to people, talk to friends. But we've been talking about mental health care more than job searching. But I'll have to do some networking definitely in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, mental health is the most important, so it's good, I guess, that you're talking more about that.
Yeah, and finally I'm recovering. Like this right hand, my thumb was busted.
How did you manage that?
I don't even know. Like it was like there was a family fight that was talking about rock bottom, and I don't know how this happened, but it busted my thumb and I cannot play. This is my being a lefty.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, this is where I grab like the. I grab the fretboard goes in here, and there's the thumb that is supporting towards the back of the ouch, Ow, 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 ow. So it's almost healed, but I haven't played for 3 or 4 weeks, almost a month now. It sucks.
Oh shit, that's a long time. That's such a long time for you.
Yeah, I'm programming music and stuff, but it's not the same. Hopefully a new project actually coming up that may it's very under wraps. I cannot disclose it too much, but there may be a new soundtrack on the way.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I was so impressed by that YouTube video that you sent me with all your friends. Like I just thought it was so cool and badass. You should link it in the description so people can check it out.
You mean the short that I made the short movie?
No, not the movie, the rock song that you did with all your friends.
Rock song.
I think it's.
Oh, you mean the cover for the cover for the last video that I made? Probably Let's Lynch the Landlord. Was it that one?
I haven't heard that one. I don't think I heard that one.
Yeah, I made a video about landlords, and I finished it with a cover from the Kennedys. Let's Lynch the Landlord. It was a lot of fun.
Let's Lynch the Landlord.
Yeah.
I love it.
Some people took issue because lynching apparently is a racist term that was used, towards slaves.
Oh fuck yeah!
But
yeah.
I think Jello Biafra uses it ironically, like landlords were slave owners as well in the USA. So probably the usage of the term is aimed towards hitting, the landlord class as well. So, difficult.
Okay.
But I knew it after the fact. So the song was covered, released, included in the video, and released separately. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either when you said the name, but yeah.
Yeah, and with the punk rockers, we're about to record an album. Probably in a month or so, we'll start recording an album.
Awesome.
Yeah, at our very rehearsal space with the sound card that lies beneath this computer, and we're gonna record everything ourselves in the rehearsal space. You just go in the morning, record the drums and the bass, and then go some other day record guitars, go some other day record the vocals, and so on. So it's gonna be fun.
Amazing. Are you gonna do all the editing?
Yep. I'm gonna do all the mixing, producing, and engineering. Production would be like all of us together, but all the technical stuff is gonna be yours truly.
That's gonna take a while, I think.
Yeah, more unpaid labor, yay! But it's for us, so I don't know. Lately, it seems like this is the thing. You can do a lot of stuff, but getting paid that's another another story.
Yeah, if your passion is art and creativity and music and all of that, then it's so hard to get paid. It's so hard to get paid.
Yep, everybody's looking for an excuse not to pay. So
yeah,
and for music and the arts in general is like the groundwork is laid out perfectly. It's your passion. It's what you do. And then you like it. You get exposure, and you got all the arguments laid out already. It's easy peasy. It's downhill,
Yeah. It's like they're explicitly saying work is supposed to make you miserable. If it doesn't make you miserable, then you're not really working. Like the idea that we could have a job that's also fulfilling at the same time is just like, no, you're not allowed that. If it's fulfilling, you're not going to get paid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I think even people like in really good jobs, I say good jobs, I mean like well-paying jobs, they kind of resent you if you get fulfillment from your job because, I don't know, I guess that makes them feel worse for their lack of fulfilling job in the bank or whatever.
Yeah. I think, probably, they want revenge. If I'm suffering, everybody must suffer or not get paid.
Yeah.
But, most of the jobs are not that bad. Like the activity itself is not that bad, but it's the structure, like having a boss who commands you and behaves like a little dictator, and all the tensions and the power plays and the stuff. I remember working in offices and go like, if people weren't so bad, the job itself wouldn't be so bad either. I remember, I think it was my first job. Our boss came into the office. We were the creative department, and we were creating campaigns for several customers and so on. And the boss walked in, said, "This is shit." Whatever we did, this is absolute shit. This is garbage. I cannot go to the client like with shit like this. Do something else, and screaming at us, really, really harsh, really bad. But when the boss wasn't around, we the three creatives were singing along and yada 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 and joking with each other. We were just doing our designs, doing our thing, and we were just hanging out. It was laid back. We were doing the thing. We were just having a good time. But then this guy came and shouted at us and destroyed the mood. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. The amount of jobs that I've been at where you end up just hating all your co-workers because you're like put in competition with all of them, even though none of you want to be in a competition with each other. And then people start throwing you under the bus in order to win favors, and we all like, yeah, I don't know, yeah, it sucks. Waitressing has by far been my like the least enjoyable job that I've had, and I've had a lot of unenjoyable jobs, and it's mainly because they always understaff, so you're like running around like all the time trying to get as much work done as possible, but then you're not even allowed to talk. Like, say, as soon as I would try and say like a little something to my coworker, it's like, no, you're not allowed to talk to them. Even when it's doing something, like I can talk at the same time as like wiping the cutlery or something, but it's like, no, you're not allowed to in any way have any kind of yeah.
Yeah, that's you're supposed to suffer. You could totally be doing your job, whatever, the most repetitive job or whatever, but you're talking to your coworker next to you and telling you, how's your day? This and that, having a nice conversation when you're doing the repetitive thing anyway, because you're doing it anyway. So that's punishment. That's not productivity, or that has no justification in any material way. It's just let's make them suffer because we can.
Yeah.
That's toxic. I think that's part of the shitty culture of our capitalist world or whatever. I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. And also just I guess everyone's just sort of externalizing their own trauma by wanting to make other people feel as bad as they do. And no one's winning.
It's a chain of suffering. Like,
yeah, like a domino effect.
Yeah, was that movie? I think it was one of those 80s movies, commercial movies, very well-known movies. Somebody was dreaming about a scene where one person vomited and the other vomited on top of the other, and then it ended up on everybody puking on top of each other, and it was like.
That sounds like a terrible film.
It was like a kid's movie, like one of those coming-of-age movies. I think it was called Stand By Me or something like that. With River Phoenix and the other guy who ended up going a little bit out of his way to become a conspiracy theorist guy. I don't remember, but there was this this kids movie coming of age thing, and there was this one who was telling about his absurd dream, and this dream was this puking scene where people were puking actually something very artificial that are like purple colored. It was like you take the camera sideways and go you put the hose on this side of the thing, and it was just shot in that way that it looked like fun. And for me it's like a little bit like that. Everybody's got something in their head that makes them suffer, and they shit on other people because they're suffering for something totally unrelated, but they shit it to other people because they're having a hard time. And it's like, I don't know, can you have a hard time and beat on yourself? Like we all do. Some of us do. Instead of shitting on other people that have nothing to do with your absolute awful demeanor. I don't know. It's difficult.
I guess I don't know. I guess the way people treat other people is normally a projection of how they're treating themselves or how they feel about themselves. So probably they're doing both. They're being harsh towards themselves and harsh towards other people, which is the worst combination. Oh yeah, I don't know, Javi. I think I would love to be able to bring about a society where we all have the tools of emotional intelligence to be able to be therapists to each other, and not literally like the therapy, the literal like therapy client relationship, but to just be able to listen and hold space for each other and really like validate each other. Because in the end, what I found from my therapist that I've been to is just how little they how not how little they do, but all they really do is give you unconditional positive regard and listen to your problems and validate your feelings. It's like, surely all of us can do that. We don't need to pay so much money for this.
That's what friends are for, right?
Yeah, but then I don't know. I guess I'm oversimplifying it, because I mean there is like a lot of psychology that these people will learn as well, which isn't exactly what all of us are going to be capable of doing. But yeah, I don't know. I just think I'm frustrated by how a little. I guess everyone's rushing around so much. People just don't have time or space for each other. I guess everyone's got so much of their own problems going on that we don't really have the energy for other people.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's this. Okay, we're talking about music before, so there's this song, from Queen called "Under Pressure," very famous. It talks a little bit about this pressure, this people, that is the thing that makes people shitty, and of course they talk about it very tangentially, but kind of that's what I think they were talking about, because it's very difficult, when you write lyrics that are so ambiguous, but maybe that's what they were talking about. This absolute ambient of, we could go all materialist about it and say, it's scarcity, artificial scarcity that makes people behave like it was. I think it was that was Kropotkin's book, the
Conquest of Bread,
mutual aid, and something nature or something, that talked about baboons, somebody made an experiment, mixing things up. Somebody made an experiment with baboons, that were very hungry and they were shitty to each other and very, dominating and whatever. And when somebody made sure to feed those baboons were like peaceful and they were cooperating and they were hanging out, no problem. Mutual aid, a factor for evolution. Thank you, Delph. Exactly. And when scarcity is out of the mix, societies tend to be more peaceful, more, nobody's having a rough time. We're taking it easy, but maybe not just material scarcity. Also, just this cultural scarcity, even, no? The macho, the dominant, all that bullshit. That's also super toxic,
Yeah. How were you able to kind of unlearn that toxic masculinity or internalized patriarchy and things like that? Or do you think you've always kind of grown up without it?
No, I had it. I still have a little bit of it in me, to be honest. This is a continuous work. You never finish it. Just, just learning, listening to mostly feminists, and saying, okay, that's how it works. Let me check myself. Let me check what I do. What do I do in my day? Shit, did I do this? And then you feel like a lot of shame. You feel like shit.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. Do I do this? Am I like this? And you have a really hard time. And then you go like, well, maybe it's not my fault completely. Like, I still did this myself. But, let's try not to do it again. Let's try to do better in the future. But it sucks, knowing that you behaved like that. It's really devastating. And trying to overcome that shitty feeling and go like, I'm gonna do better next time, and next time you do better, and I did better this time, and then positive, good reinforcement. Good.
Oh, Javi, I wish that you could teach all the young boys how to be. I thought that everything you said, I thought that was so perfect. Yeah, just like listening, learning, looking at your own stuff and how you're replicating that. I just thought that was so well said. And I also appreciate that you acknowledge that you still have a lot of it internalized, because I think a lot of men that I've spoken to who are leftists are like, oh, I'm not patriarchal at all, I don't do this and that, and it's like inevitably they are normally the worst.
No, I'm deconstructed.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that, man.
And I have so much internalized misogyny as well.
We all do. It sucks, but one thing at a time. Let's get better. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tough cookie. It's a
Yeah.
difficult one.
I really appreciated as well what you said about the shame, because I think that's so true. Because I think that I guess what a lot of us, as soon as we start having that sort of sense of shame, I think that we immediately think that the only way to respond in those situations is like we want to shut it down. We want to emotionally disassociate from that feeling of shame. So instead of like processing it and feeling it and allowing it to be there, we instead put that on other people. So we like, I don't know, blame another, scapegoat another group of people, or we just go immediately into denial because it's easier for us to be in denial than to process that shame. So yeah, I don't know, I think just culturally and personally, it would be so useful if we learned how to process shame, because I think we all carry so much shame, but it's not something that we often talk about much. I don't know, I guess because it's shameful, that then we don't want to talk about it, because then we're embarrassed to talk about it, but then it festers and gets even worse. So it's just like a vicious cycle.
Yeah, it's very poisonous, that motherfucker. But
Yeah.
I'm from Spain. We're a Catholic country. We live in constant shame. And we throw shame at each other. We have an abundance of shame.
Really? I always thought that Spain was so much more kind of culturally liberated in some ways. Like, people are more open, people are less repressed than the English.
Yeah, we can be more laid back, but we're laid back because we've been throwing shit at each other all day. So at the end of the day, where you're like, oh, cool. It doesn't get inside and rots, and it becomes even more poisonous. Yeah, but that implies, we all scream at each other all the time, all day, every day. It's more noisy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's good, I guess. You kind of express your emotions at the very least. The English, we love to repress everything.
Well, no more. No more. We're gonna become Mediterranean, all of us. We're gonna scream at each other, all of Europe. I don't know. It has its upside and its downside, as everything, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Javi, you should tell your mum I bought some Kegel balls, because me and Javi's mum talked about Kegel balls, and Javi's mum convinced me that I should 100% get some, and I finally, like 2 years later, I bought some. And I absolutely love them. But yeah, your mum's stories about her Kegel ball experience was just hilarious.
Yeah.
Them falling out everywhere.
Yeah, and she has a funny way to tell them too. Definitely. Yeah. I let her know. Kegel balls are good stuff. Good
your
exercise.
Mom is the best.
A lot of fun. Yeah, she's awesome. Can I say? I'm biased.
Oh yeah. And it was really funny because Javi was translating everything.
Yeah, of course.
Everything about your mum's vagina and the balls falling out everywhere, and I was like, I don't know. This is why I have this image of Spain as so liberated, because you're happily translating all this stuff for me.
Because we're a very liberated family in a not so liberated environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Most of my lefty impulses were from my mom. My dad was a communist too, but he was a junkie as well, so he wasn't in the house so much to encourage us to liberate the world. But my mom was, and she's very responsible for my leftist tendencies. Then formation, everybody gets their own, but definitely.
Did your mom do any like unionizing or protesting and stuff?
They did some protests when they were younger, but when my dad was kicked out of the house, she was working all day, every day just to feed us. So no more mobilization anymore. She was cleaning the common parts of the buildings, and cleaning
Hard work.
yeah, it was she in very time consuming. She came back home at the end of the day exhausted. So we had a little talk, and she went to bed because she was exhausted. And they were very difficult times. Childhood was good because both mom and grandma took care of us, but it was difficult because we didn't have a lot of anything, and we just got by, and they were having a rough time, but they protected us very well. To be honest, can't complain. That's why maybe some of my most I was raised in a family of women, and my heroes, my personal heroes, were always sheroes. You know what I mean? And that may be, why I'm more inclined towards feminism, because of course, being things in general globally so shitty, so biased towards the masculine against the feminine, and go like, what the fuck are you doing, people? Of course you gotta. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Family circumstances are always, rough, I suppose. Nobody knows how to parent. Nobody knows how to parent. It's a fact, nobody. And it's fine, we gotta forgive them.
And I can't imagine how difficult it is to be a parent in this time in the world as well, because I'm always exhausted with my life, and I don't have kids to look after. I can't imagine having this life, working and also having kids, and also having to clean after. I don't know, it just must be. Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah.
Breeding little humans that can starve in the decades to come.
Oh my god, Abby, that's so depressing.
Sorry, here comes the doomerism.
Oh god, yeah.
No. Bringing up little wonderful revolutionaries who are gonna turn the world around in the decades to come. That's better.
Yeah, we need some leftist babies.
Please.
so that we can have future activists.
Little Emma Goldman and little Angela Davises and little Che Guevaras,
Yeah, I feel like at the moment I can't really see myself having children, but I think I dream of someday owning a bit of land where there's loads of rescued animals and I grow my own vegetables, and then I would love to foster children for a while, just have a big family of foster children, animals, rescued pigs. I love pigs.
Like a sanctuary that includes humans.
Yeah.
All species are welcome.
Yeah.
including the oppressor species.
Yeah. And that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
but I don't think I'm ever gonna have the money to own land. So
I mean,
I don't know how
you crowdsource those things, I suppose.
Yeah, community co-op type thing, maybe.
Can we run it together? I want in it.
Oh yeah, I really want to move to Spain someday. I learn Spanish, but yeah, I think though. I feel like I'm too much of an introvert to be able to live on a co-op. But maybe if I chose the people, if I knew who was there, then it might be easier.
I mean, to run a smooth co-op, you got to know the people.
Yeah. No, I mean, just if I were to join one where there was already settled people, maybe I'd find that more difficult.
Then you will be vetted, instead of them being vetted by you, that you will be vetted by them. You know what I mean? Yeah, true. Which means, that eventually people will be compatible anyway.
Yeah. Yeah,
I suppose. But yeah, I hear you. And, introvert is fine, but, we're social creatures. We can be introverts in social communities as well, and that can be respected. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of balance. When you need your space, you have your space. You have your bubble. You're safe. You're good. And when you want to go out and cooperate with the others, you can do it as well. On your own time. Everything. There's always a solution for things like that. I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
But definitely, if you think about that shelter, please do count me in. I was thinking about a shelter actually, like a sanctuary thing, but I never thought about that angle that you said, it, including humans in it. Me likey, good stuff. And we can apply for a government, funding or whatever. We just run it,
Yeah, I don't know why they would give us. Yeah, maybe for the animals. Yeah, they could give us some money, but yeah, it would be the dream someday. Do you have like a dream image of what? This sounds like such a capitalist question. Your dream life? No, but I mean, like from a leftist lens.
Like, I don't know. I have like needs right now, and I'm too down to project into something very positive. But definitely something like a commune or something like that would be awesome. But I have the same problem as you, and I don't look that introvert, but I kind of am. I'm a functionally pretending very well that I'm not, but I am an introvert. I'm good for one-on-one conversations. When there's like more than 3 or 4 people, I block out the conversation. It disappears for me. It's very difficult to follow up, and I don't know if I feel the need to leave the city. I don't want to be in the city. I want to be in a rural environment. I don't know if it's because I've been reading about the collapse and everything. I got panicked, but I lived in 2 smaller cities. I lived in Krakow and I lived in Oslo. They're smaller than Madrid, and there's an improvement in life quality from bigger to smaller city. And I lived in in a big town, but town, not city, and definitely quality of life was way better. So I'm ready to move to a small town or something like that,
What do you prefer about the smaller setting?
Not so much noise, not so much people all the time crowding. There's something about big cities that they have like this rumble. I hear it, and I'm a bass player. I'm a little bit deaf, but I hear this rumble continuous that exists in the city. You don't get actual real silence, and that drills into your head. I think there's something, there's some element of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I feel like for me, I prefer smaller cities just because I think I feel more peaceful somehow. I feel like in a big city, there's always like that stress that you should be doing like 5 things at once, and everyone's in this like rat race mentality. Whereas I feel like in smaller places in the countryside, especially when I'm in a really naturey area, it just feels like you can calm, and like nature isn't moving around trying to do loads of stuff. I don't know. I just feel so at peace compared to like big cities and stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely more of I belong in the countryside, I think.
Yeah, I hear you so much. This finishing whatever you were doing and go like, I'm a little bit stressed. I'm gonna go to the forest, and then you walk, and you're in the forest. Life is good.
Yeah.
That you can only get in smaller towns, and what you said about the rat race too. Yeah, I think you're spot on. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we're moving to a smaller town. Who's in? Who? People in the chat. Anybody in?
Come join our commune.
Come join our commune if you're comrades.
Also, I feel like you would be the perfect person in a commune, because every night there'd be like a fire, outdoor like campfire that everyone's sitting around, and you could play for us, sing for us. That would just be incredible.
I can be the jester. Look, Kamasats will be the cook. I can help with the cooking as well. There can be a few of us can be in cooking detail, and I can be
Michelle
just
can be gardening. I don't know if she's in the chat.
definitely. Oh yeah, Michaela, of course. Yeah. She can do all of the gardening and a lot of crafts, and then we can do it together. Oh my god, that'd be awesome. That'd be a great community. I'm in. I'm definitely in. Definitely.
I like cleaning. I can be the cleaner.
That's cool. We can and we can all learn together, and we can all make media together. I can be your camera crew and your sound crew. So I don't have to talk anymore. Then you do the talking, and I'll do the shooting.
Oh my god. Yeah, I guess we do. It would be great to have more of that kind of cooperation on YouTube, like multiple people working together on one channel rather than like all individually trying to grind through the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, but I suppose we all live in different places, so
that's why you'll have to move to the Spanish countryside. Because I said so.
I want to. My plan is to move away from the UK in the next 6 months or so, because I just can't afford it anymore. It's so expensive to live in this city.
Definitely.
My rent is just astronomical. I live with 4 people, but my rent is so unbelievable.
The rent is too damn high. There was this political candidate who became like a meme, who was saying that the rent is too damn high, and it was yeah. Oh, okay, sorry, what's the thing? Segue. Digression, absolute digression. But yeah, we can move to a smaller town somewhere in Zamora or something, or around maybe Galicia. Galicia is a little bit, more rainy and stuff.
I wanted to go to Valencia.
Valencia is nice, but the people go crazy with the wind.
Oh, it's too windy.
It's super windy, and it gets to your head, and you get like,
Really?
Yeah, but there are these parts
It can't be windier than England, surely.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, absolutely. The thing is that being coastal as it is, there's a stream of wind that is like continuous. Because it comes from the south to the north, and the north to the south of the Mediterranean. And I don't remember exactly how it goes, but there's a couple of continuous streams of wind that gets to your head. Plus, the coast is a little bit more expensive, but the interior of the country is ludicrously, absolutely cheap. Like really low prices for real estate. And maybe even getting land and make that shelter in that community.
But isn't the interior, it's all quite dry, right?
In the south, yes. In the north, not that much.
Okay. Because I took the bus from Barcelona to Madrid. And yeah, I was just surprised it was, well, not surprised, but it was like definitely all very dry. I suppose I went in summer, so.
Because you were also in the mesa there, in the part where there's southern Calatayud, Zaragoza, all those places that are like super rocky, right?
I don't remember any rocks, to be honest. But yeah, I see what you mean. So because of the rocks, they don't have the soil and stuff to grow, and yeah. No, there are parts that are absolutely fruitful and wonderful that are practically abandoned. Practically emptied. That's one of the things that Spain, it's a very big country, like in surface, in area, but and population about 40 million, but most of the people are concentrated in the cities and the coastal areas. So in the interior of Spain and Portugal, like this book that I'm reading, it's called The Empty Liberia, right? La Iberia Vaciada, and talks about it in Spanish, of course. That's the original title. But these places are some of them are very fruitful, mostly in the area of León and Castilla León, the northwesterner part of the inner circle of Spain, not counting the coast. And Galicia, the interior of Galicia, is also very, very, very fruitful. Like it's very wet, it's very moist, and there's a lot of green.
it's generally the further south you go, the drier it is, and the farther north you go, the greener it is. It's something when we went on tour with some of the bands that I've been in. We went from this road that connects Madrid with Bilbao, and the moment we enter the Basque Country, there's like this sign that goes like "Welcome to the Basque Country," and suddenly it's green. Everything is green. It's like what? It's like they flip a switch. Welcome to the Basque Country. Boom, green. Okay. You can see it on the road. It was so much fun.
Oh yeah, Galicia. That sounds perfect for me. Yeah, I love the green. Greenery is very much needed, and like mountains. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of feeling, definitely.
Yeah. Also, Abby, what you said about the heroes being like a he rather than a she blew my mind, because I was like, yeah, I never even realized that about it specifically. I mean, I don't know if it's intentional, but it seems to be gendered.
Yeah,
and I was like, damn.
Language is sneaky like that. Language is very sneaky. That's why I think that the cartoon, right? She-Ra, the hero of a she. Which is really silly. It's a cartoon, for kids, but it's pretty cool, actually. It's something that you can watch with kids and both of you enjoy it, which is rare in children's entertainment. But it's really cool, She-Ra. It was really cool. Something I recommend to all my friends who are parents. That like, well, can I watch with the kids? And you go like, yeah, She-Ra is pretty cool. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy when you like grow up and you realize just how communist so many kids shows actually were. Like Bug's Life was just like the workers rising up against the oligarchs, and then Monsters Inc. as well. It was like kind of about climate change. And what else? The Smurfs. Everyone lived in communes. Well, I don't know if it's a commune, but it was definitely like an anarchist.
Yeah, the Smurfs were more like a cult, though. They had that vibe. There was only one girl. That was.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Only Smurfette. That she her thing was being a girl. That's all her thing. Very dated. But yeah, there were some kids shows. There was a Spanish kids show that was really good called La Bola de Cristal, the Crystal Ball, that had like some puppets that were animated. The scripts were like Viva el Mal, Viva el Capital. It was like the bad guy, the character. She was the breakdown witch, La Bruja Avería, and her catchphrase was "Hail evil, hail capital." It was incredibly political. It lasted like 4 or 5 years back in the 80s, but it was a great show.
I'm surprised that was even allowed.
Yeah. It's like they let it happen for a few until somebody noticed and it was like, whoa. It was the 80s. Everybody was on drugs. Took a while to notice.
I love Chicken Run as well. I feel like Chicken Run is that's an incredible one for like leftists as well.
Shaun the Sheep and that all the stuff that creator did, like what is it, Wallace and Gromit?
Gromit?
Yeah, Gromit. Yeah, Wallace and Gromit. All that creator did was pretty lefty, I think, in the spirit of things. Was very laid back.
I don't remember the storylines of those ones. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember all the sheep coming together to do something against the farmer. The farmer was like, okay, I'll take it easy with the sheep. It was not super exploitative. Everybody was like very nice to each other. But because the farmer knew he didn't have that much power, because otherwise the sheep were gonna keep him in check. It had some themes there. That was really cool.
Yeah, and what about what is the pig? Charlotte's Web. I that turned so many people vegetarian. That film.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen that one. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
There was this one Korean one, okra.
Oh yeah, I really like that. Okra, I think.
Okra, I think maybe because
Yeah.
I don't know, because okra is like that thing that is like a pepper, but I don't know, something like that.
Maybe.
Yeah, Okia, OKJA. That was the title. Okia.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember now because okra is the food.
Yeah, I really like that. Also, I really enjoyed that it was kind of critical of the vegan movement in a lot of ways as well. And then it also pointed out kind of the hypocrisy because she was really wanted to protect Okya, but then she was also eating a lot of chicken at the same time. And I think it was kind of supposed to be like a commentary on our hypocrisy where we love our pet dogs but eat sheep.
Yeah, the disconnection there, a disconnection.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think like it's something that we do on purpose. It's kind of a disconnection. That it's it's like when
Yeah.
it's kind of indoctrination. It's like this common sense that we have that of course it is the way it is because we don't question it, but the moment you question it, it falls apart, right?
Mm.
It's more or less like what we talked before about the indoctrination of being a manly man and whatever, and having to break it down.
Yeah.
The patriarchy and all the stuff in our minds. I think it's something along that sides with speciesism. It's something that's taken for granted, but once you question it, it falls apart.
Yeah. What age were you when you became a vegan?
I don't know, 30 something or something, because it came very late for me. I became a vegetarian when I was like 18 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was always saying like I was like 20 something, but 20 something was when I left alcohol, when I quit alcohol. I quit booze at that stage. But I think vegetarian since 18 and vegan at 30 something, 35ish. So
What made you quit alcohol?
I didn't sit well with me. I came drunk home, puking and everything, and I was like, this is not worth it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And, it was eventually, after the fact that I took that decision, that I took my position about alcohol being like a very damaging substance. Like, while it's legal, and it's socially accepted, it makes it like even more dangerous to use because it's more accessible. So, I don't know, like weed, for instance, is illegal, but it's way less harmful, let's say, less dangerous than alcohol. It's difficult, and I think one of the things that really radicalized me into an anti-alcohol stance, that I don't bug people about, quit alcohol, well, you do you, no problem. But one of the things that got me more convinced was when I was living in Poland, and I was seeing all the people, people down in the street, just thrown in the sidewalk like a rag, with a bottle of vodka on their hand, and was like, this person's life is destroyed, and there's the culprit right there, and it was the bottle of booze in their hand, and I was like, yeah, put two and two together, and I don't know, what's your stance about it though?
Yeah, I don't know. From the little that I know, I kind of sometimes think that it's not a myth necessarily, but kind of an unhelpful stereotype that the cause of homelessness is alcoholism, because I think that from what I understand, it's more like the alcoholism often comes after being homeless as a way to be warm and everything like that. Because I'm not sure if it can be put down to the alcohol being the reason why they're homeless. That's
true. Like it is a good. Most drugs are a good tool to survive homelessness. It makes you more callous. It separates you from your reality, and that sucks. So yeah, I agree so much with that. But it's like you see. It's not about the homelessness actually. Some of those people have homes. They just get shit faced and end up in the street. Just spending the night because they blacked out. It's nothing to do with homelessness per se. It's just seeing what is done to those people at that moment, saying, okay, and this happens every week or every other day, that's a problem.
Oh, I see what you mean. So it was more like people who had just come out of like a club or something, and they were on the side of the street kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not nothing to do with homelessness, because I really respect homeless people. I have this idea for a documentary. I want to, this summer maybe, I'm going out with my camera and trying to politely ask homeless people to talk to the camera, to say whatever they want to say. And then put together a movie, you know, homeless people saying stuff.
Yeah, that could be incredible. Yeah. You should. Yeah.
I wanna try it, see how it goes.
Yeah. I think that could be incredible. I wonder if something like that, if that has, I think it probably has, but I haven't seen it on YouTube. So I think that would be such a valuable resource if you could do that, and also potentially give people the voice to express how they're feeling, who otherwise don't normally get that. So that's the whole idea. Giving them a voice, giving them a speaker, you know, like fuck that shit, you know, you're always invisible to people. So now you're visible. Now you're on camera. Now you have the microphone. Go to town, friend. Do whatever you need. Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. I'm gonna try it this summer. When the weather is a little bit more agreeable, I'm going out to the street. I mean, it's not bad. It's just a little bit rainy, but you know, since I lived in up in the north, everything above 0 centigrade is good. Everything above the freezing temperature of water is doable, but yeah,
the Spanish summer is far too hot for me. I don't think I could survive.
Give it to me. 4 p.m. there, the sun burning all the asphalt. That you could actually cook in that asphalt. That's the moment.
I'm the opposite. I put on like SPF 50 every day, even though I live in the UK. Even if I don't even leave the house, because I know that I'll burn just from like the sun coming in the window. I'm not made for the hot weather.
Give it a few months.
Yeah.
We acclimate to anything. We acclimate to everything. It is. But yeah, I mean, not without a little bit of struggle. Definitely. Oh yeah. Man, I really like the idea of the shelter. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be amazing. I do wonder sort of the ethics of it, but I suppose, because I was thinking, I don't know if you need to get people to sign something to ask if it's okay, but I feel like, I mean, yeah, I think generally it could be great.
Yeah, and you know, even if you want to make it privately, there's a niche there. Like parents get very tired and they want to park their kids in the summer while they're at work and they don't have holidays. So send them to the camp where they learn to respect the animals or something like that. I don't know. They could be like customers. Like if you make it into a business thing, plus you know the commune to make the commune thrive, and we can pay the bills, and at the same time, you know, I don't know. There are some possibilities there, but definitely I think it's a great idea. And I've been thinking about an animal shelter, you know, about one of those sanctuaries that I follow on Instagram. It's one of the things I follow. I use Instagram only to check friends' stories and a couple of political things, and then you know, animal sanctuaries, to see who they rescued this time. Oh, look at these donkeys. Oh, he was very sick and now he's getting better. Help us pay for the vet. And I thought, yay! Oh, that could be something I'd love to. You know, I'd love to have that as my job. To be honest, I've done a lot of other things, and if I can be a musician on the side, that's all I ask for. My room to be also a studio. I have a bed, some drawers, and a drum set, and a couple of amplifiers.
Oh, I'd love to see it someday, Javi. I'd love to see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me too. Actually, it would be awesome. So I don't know. It's a good idea. I like that. I like the sanctuary thing. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like being more connected to animals as well would just be so incredible for everyone's mental health and well-being and um yeah.
Yeah, what everybody says about having a pet, they're really good with you and they really understand you, and it's like just they're not biased with the cultural bullshit that we have on top of us. So they're just there, hanging out. They don't. I mean, they have depressions, they have problems as well, psychological problems, but not as many as us. They're not so plagued with them as we are because of our
Yeah.
shitty societies and of Twitter fights.
Yeah.
And I don't mean literally Twitter fights on Twitter. Twitter fight everything. Everything is a Twitter fight.
Yeah. My therapist actually used to bring in like a lizard into the session for me to like stroke the lizard whilst I was talking. And I think it's supposed to be like a therapeutic. It actually really does work because I think, yeah, once you stroke it, yeah, you get into like kind of a meditative state and a peaceful state. And I think like, yeah, there is something about it. There's something about animals. Animals are healing, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Non-human animals. They don't. They remind us on how we were before all the programming, and go like,
Yeah.
yeah. You can be this. You can be this too. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, that's a good name
Yeah.
for a lizard. Elisa. A lizard.
Or scaly? No. No, like Kaylee? Scaly? No.
Scaly Minogue. A lizard Minelli.
I'm impressed that you can come up with these in your second language. I can't even think of one in English.
I don't know. It just came out. I don't it's not a replicable experiment. I cannot. It's just luck.
I feel like, Happy, you don't need any alcohol or any drugs. You just sort of get high from conversation, get high on life.
Definitely. Some friends called me. They would say there was like Obelix from this comic book, Asterisk and Obelix.
Oh yeah.
And Obelix fell into the magic potion when he was a boy, and he's not allowed to have magic potion never ever. So I was the Obelix in the gang. I was always with the magic potion on. But yeah, I think you nailed it. Get high on conversation, friendship, and good company is probably the best thing we have in life, and it's still for free. Still.
Yeah. Happy, I wanted to ask you as well. This is unrelated, but I've been thinking a lot about creativity recently, and I know that you're such a creative person, and it's really interesting to me because I feel like I'm overthinking the concept of creativity, but my other friend James, he talked about that creativity for them is like a sort of spiritual experience in a sense where they will just be doing something in a day and it will sort of come to them just like, yeah, as if it just sort of flows through them in a sense. And whenever I've approached anything creative, it never is like that for me. And I know that some Indigenous people also talk about it in that sense of that it's like an idea is given to you. It's doesn't come from you. It's like you are the custodian or something of the idea. And I know like prior to the Enlightenment period, it was also, that's how they thought of ideas as like, yeah, not something that we own. If that makes sense. It's and it almost like I guess a spiritual thing in a sense. And And or even if you wouldn't call, because I know that you wouldn't call it, you don't really believe in spirituality or religion in that sense, but do you find that when ideas come to you, it really is like, or when you're going to write something, it just kind of flows out of you? Or would you say it's like a more of a like a cerebral experience? Or how would you define it? Because I don't know, I feel like I might be doing creativity, well, not that you can do creativity wrong, but I feel like I'm trying to figure out how to approach it better.
Yeah, good question. I think for me, most of the time, because every time is different, but most of the time, it kind of pops up. It's like, for me, what I find most useful to be creative is to get bored. If I had nothing to do, that's why most of the stuff that comes to my mind comes while walking, which is very dangerous because you have no access to musical equipment or anything to record it. I remember, singing to my phone, and I heard like some stories of very famous rock musicians calling their answering machine on a public phone booth just to sing whatever melody came to mind so they can remember afterwards. For me,
Really?
yeah, for me, it's like you gotta get bored. You gotta get bored to death. You gotta. I'm probably not bored, but you could call it like meditative state when your mind goes like you wonder about, and then something pops up to your head, and sometimes it's a piece of music, sometimes it's a concept, something that's sometimes when you're trying to sleep and nothing is happening, nothing is stimulating you, so it's kind of the mind wants to build something stimulating because there's nothing going on. and then it pops out. But sometimes you can force it from things so sometimes you got something that comes to your mind like very finished, very wham, boom, and then in the creative process when you're building it, you can change it, it's fine, but it comes to your mind very finished. I remember having pieces of jazz, swingy jazz music. I was in a shopping mall in my neighborhood somewhere, and I was like going to catch some groceries, something to eat, and I was and all of a sudden, but not just the melody, but also so all of the pieces, all of the orchestra was there. Everything was there as a thing, and I never made that. But that one piece, I'll have to put it together sometimes. It was really silly because it came from a couple of slang words in Spanish that are related to the process of being bald. Hair loss as a concept. So it's choppy. I think it's choppy. It's the front when you're losing hair on that part, and cartuli, like the board when you're losing hair on this part. So when you're choppy cartuli, it's like you're going bald all the way. And for some reason it came out like choppy cartuli, and I was thinking about the saxophone solo, and everything there while in the supermarket getting some groceries, being bored to death, and it popped out as a finish thing. Bah!
Wow.
And it was strange. It was funny and strange. So sometimes I repeat them to myself over and over in my head. Like the first time is the creative part. The second and third, the fourth, the fifth, the seventh, the 100th is the please remember this later part. So you repeat the thing in your head all the time, and it's complex. But it's fun. It's fun. I remember having talked to my phone about songs and so you see a guy walking down the street with singing to his phone. So you get lucky if you find a way to not forget those things that pop to mind like that. So
yeah, that's so fascinating though, because it reminds me of Mia Mulder had a quote at the end of her video that was something along the lines of that the most productive people or cultures or periods of time where when people had immense amounts of laziness, periods of laziness, because I don't know, we always think about to have like innovation and create things and everything, you need to be hyper productive and you need to constantly be working. But actually, it seems like in reality, it's periods of laziness that seem to be, or not even lazy, because I know lazy is a socially constructed term that's like problematic, but periods of rest, periods of boredom are so integral. And the thing is, it's so difficult these days to actually have periods of like nothing, because there's always music or voice messages or podcasts or TV or something to distract us. So probably most
or
of us,
doom scrolling.
yeah, or social media. Yeah, I guess most of us probably have such incredible ideas in our minds, but none of them ever come to fruition because we aren't able to give them time to flourish. And yeah, that's so sad. Now that makes me think I need to have more periods of boredom.
Schedule more boredom.
In the boredom. Yeah. I think that's gonna count. That's not gonna work though, because then my brain will know what I'm trying to trick myself.
It's gonna be a cheater there.
Yeah, but isn't that amazing though? That like just by doing nothing, our brains can come up with ideas. Because I think that the way that I've approached creativity has been much more like maybe too regimented. I don't know, the way I write poetry and stuff, it doesn't really sort of come to me. It's more like I sort of randomly piece it together, and it doesn't feel that authentic as a result. Maybe because I guess you kind of have to completely release your ego, completely release all like expectations of what this is going to be or anything like that, and then it can truly come from you. I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out creativity.
That's another very good
creatively.
way actually to force creativity to happen, you know, to put pieces together, like the cadáver exquisito, the exquisite corpse, the putting pieces of things together in a new way is another creative task. It's really good. So I want to say it's inferior at all. I think it's more systematic. Yeah. It's more cerebral, but also you can finish the thing, put it aside, take a walk or sleep on it. Day after, you go back at it, and if it makes you feel things, then it's real.
I like that.
You know, sometimes you gotta approach your work in a way that it is what it is. It's out there. You go back at it as an spectator and go like, good enough.
Yeah.
Move on next.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of perfectionist drive definitely hinders so many things from being created. I love that attitude of just like, yeah, let it be what it's going to be, and then if it's not great, then that's fine. Just kind of enjoy the process over the product, I guess.
Yeah, and it's a picture of a moment, and that moment was like that. If it's true, if you go back at it and it's true enough, then you release it, let it go, move on next.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to approach it, but there's no bad way to approach creativity, in a way that, you know, everybody's process is different and everybody's mind is built differently, I suppose, and so it comes to you on your own terms, in your own way. I don't know, for me, boredom helps. Walking, doing menial tasks like groceries and stuff, and you get ideas. Something pops out, or you're just about to sleep. You're not able to sleep because it sucks, and suddenly this discourse, this music, this picture, this other thing, and go like But for instance, photographers, they're not trying to create per se. They're observing, they're watching light and composition and everything. And photographers are watching all the time. They're like little voyeurs of the world. So they're framing the picture all the time and saying, this is beautiful. Bah! I capture it. And then make it a little bit better in the lab, or the digital lab right now, the photoshopping and whatever. But in a way, there are many ways to approach it. You can be an observer. You can be a builder. You can be a remixer. You can be an interpreter. and all of them are creative endeavors. Just, it depends on the time, it depends on your process, and depends on your personality, and depends on, can be anything. Like some painters work on automatic mode and go like, oh, okay, this is cool, blah 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 blah, and suddenly, oh, okay, let's change it into this other thing, and boom, it happens. It's so diverse, right?
Yeah, I've also heard that a lot of famous artists like Beethoven would, if they were in a slump with the art that they got paid for, they would start doing a completely different type of creative endeavor, and then that would enable them to get creative again, like get their juices flowing again for the art that they were supposed to make money from. And I think that's really interesting, and I guess it makes a lot of sense because it accesses a different part of your brain and to be creative in another way, and then that rekindles your flame for the initial creativity. I don't know. Yeah, I just think I just feel like most of us are just inherently creative creatures in, like, as human beings. I'm not really basing this on anything other than how I feel, and it's just sad that we don't get to create that much in our day-to-day lives. Like, yeah, I don't know.
it's yeah. I mean, we have intelligence, and our intelligence expresses itself in whatever outlet wants to express itself. It is what it is. I don't know. Creativity itself is a concept. It's a construct, right? Things happen. How do they happen? We can try to explain them after the fact, but things do happen.
Yeah.
So, my I don't know, quote unquote advice, if I could have any, would be just let it flow, let it happen. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're doing fantastically great. Do whatever you want to do, and not what people expect from you. Do whatever you want to do at the moment, and you're going to do great.
Yeah, I love that advice. That kind of, let it flow through you, let it speak through you in a way. I love that.
Yeah, because it's your feelings, it's your subjectivity what has to come through, not somebody else's.
Yeah. It's like that phrase, that saying that of the writer who never wrote down the first sentence because they were too obsessed with getting the first sentence, making it the absolute best first sentence that ever existed, so they never got past it. And I think it's that kind of thing. It's like, if you get too much in your head about it, then it doesn't flow. And I suppose we're always taught to not think about doing something for the sake of letting it flow. We're always taught to do something if we can get something out of it. Like how like we're only going to write a poem if it can be monetized. Otherwise it's a waste of time, and so that prevents so many people from just like letting it happen as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's the marketplace of ideas.
Yeah. Do you have you ever found that through commodifying your art it's been a problem for you?
No, because my art was never that successful. My most successful time was with my band La Vaca Guano, when we just released our first album, and we played like in front of 9,000 people, and it was for a good cause, for an animal liberation cause in a stadium.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that was a great moment. It's out there on YouTube. Like the original audio is not there. It's the audio from the album, but the footage is there from, a couple of friends showed up with a camera and filmed us. It was a lot of fun. And 9,000 people roaring at you like a stadium type. It was wow. But it didn't feel like commodifying because it was for a good cause. And my art, my expression was always like, when I worked at the advertising agency, that was not creativity in a way of self-expression, but finding clever ways to communicate what the customer wants. So it wasn't, I didn't feel it as mine. It was like the grind. And I tried to enjoy as much as I could while doing it by singing with my coworkers and being silly in the office because we were doing the work anyway. Who fucking cares except for the guy that comes out and shouts at us. But that was it was creativity minus the self-expression. So I was coming up with clever ways to communicate things for the customer. So I didn't feel it as mine. It was the customers. I was just doing a job, and it's not the same. So with my art, with my things, my music, and my stuff, I always felt that it was coming through the way it came through. And if people want to take it home and buy it or whatever, want to care about it, it doesn't have to be a monetary way. We just care about it. That's a success. That's good. That's great. You care about it. You use it. Enjoy it. It's there for you. It's out in the world. It's not mine anymore anyway. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that you can have that kind of very anti-capitalist, decolonized view of your work. Yeah, that's amazing.
Let's spread the word.
Yeah.
None of us are gonna make money, but people are gonna be more free. I mean, it's a price, I suppose.
Yeah, but your approach to your art and your work and the way you're so amazing at mutual aid as well in terms of helping me with my thumbnails and my editing and things like that. So yeah, I feel like you're a really big inspiration, Javi.
I always got your back. You know that. I'm here for you. It's the truth. All the heart, like the Care Bears, like throwing rainbows there from the heart. In your direction, dear. It is what it is.
Right back at you, Javi. Yeah, I was just gonna say my battery is about to run out. So
don't worry about it. Let's wrap it up.
I might.
There you go.
It just got a notification. Yeah. So it might die any moment.
Don't worry about it. Let's talk more over the week, okay? And maybe next week we can have a talk off the air. Just chatting.
Yeah,
having a good
that
time.
would be great.
I hope you had a good time at this format. It's very laid back.
I really like this style. I think it's such a great. Also, I love the fact that you call it with Titans. It's such a great way.
Because you're people who I really like and admire, and I respect so much. So I'm but happy to hang with such quality people. It is what it is.
Thanks so much, Javi. That's so sweet.
So good. Thank you, everybody, for coming in the chat, and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Much love. Mwah.
Bye.